The first thing is assertiveness, right? A woman loves a man that can be assertive. Assertiveness just means you make a decision and you go with it, right? It doesn't mean that you're inflexible, or you're hard-headed. It just means that, like, hey, if you decide that you're gonna do something, or you decide we're gonna go somewhere, like, you go there. Like, so a lot of guys have a hard time with being assertive because they're scared of, like, hurting somebody's feelings or being too considerate of other people. But it's like sometimes people want to be led. If they don't want to be led, like, you have to respect their decision, but you should still be assertive anyways. So that's the first thing. The second thing that women find incredibly attractive is emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, a lot of guys don't realize that when you sit and say to a woman, or when you're talking about a woman, you say, I just don't understand her emotions, her feelings. That means you lack emotional intelligence. And that's what they're talking about. So a lot of guys, they think that control over their emotions means numbness. And it doesn't mean, feeling numb does not mean what you think it is. It just means you choose to see things in black and white. But the truth is, there are other shades of emotion. There's other shades of color. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. Well, women can see those other shades of feelings and emotion because they were allowed to feel them as a kid, or growing up. It was like normal for women to be emotional, right? That's a stereotype. And men are not supposed to be emotional. Well, men have emotions too. They're just not allowed to express them like growing up, because men shouldn't cry. But what happens is, when it comes time to understand somebody else's emotions, they can't fathom what things mean. They're just like, oh, I don't get it. Like, why is this person upset? Da, da, da. And it's like, a lot of times it's a convenient thing where, oh, this doesn't make sense, so it must not be true, so I'm in the right. But the truth is, like, listen, somebody has insecurities. People are scared of things. People will get upset, and if you can't understand that, you lack the intelligence required to understand somebody's emotions. Like, you can't really help and support them through some pretty tough times, because tough times come with emotional turmoil. And if you have no emotional intelligence, like, you can't possibly help somebody that needs emotional support, which in the state of today's mental health is something that a lot of people need, even women. And they would love to get that from your partner. So if you are on a date and you show that you have emotional intelligence, like, you're in touch with your emotions and your feelings, and you have control and you understand and you have empathy, women will find that incredibly attractive. All right. And then the last thing that women love so much, super extra brownie points when you're, hanging out with a woman, is patience and understanding, right? And I know that's two different things, but they go hand in hand, right? When you have patience, like, things don't easily, like, it isn't really that big of a deal, right? I know a lot of people want to be like, oh, I don't want to waste time and stuff, but, like, if someone's going to partner with you and you fly off the handles off of, like, having to wait for things or having to wait for them, like, that's not a good sign. And the reason it's not a good sign is, imagine you're a parent, right? Let's go back to the Stone Age days of women choosing a partner based off of, their ability to reproduce and like how they would be as a partner. Well, if you don't have patience, like, how are you going to be with your kids? How are you going to be with your, the kids that you have with this woman? You're not going to be patient. If you don't have understanding, like, you're going to give them so much trauma. Like, women, they do kind of they look at those things. They naturally are drawn to guys that have qualities that will translate to being a good parent someday. And patience and understanding is highly underrated, but extremely powerful. Yeah, if you're willing to wait, like, you can kind of get whatever you want, especially if you're an assertive person. So yeah, those three things are qualities that any man can develop. They're free. They don't require money. They're not a looks department thing, but they will help you. Like, any woman you gain major brownie points for having these three things. So being assertive, having emotional intelligence, and being patient and having understanding. Women love that shit, and it's free as fuck. If you found this video helpful, feel free to like, comment, subscribe.